The value of working at a place like Community Partners in Action is, first of all, that in my position I'm able to provide services to young people, not just young people, but people who are involved in the criminal justice system. Connecticut is one of the states where people who are involved in the criminal justice system are seen in adult court. You know, it's called youthful offender court. And many times they're not aware of what's going on. They don't really understand the proceedings, and they don't have the maturity level to make sure that they understand the proceedings and make the right decisions. And on the other side, many times the people who are looking at them, the judges, the prosecutors, are the same judges and prosecutors who look at 30-year-old and 40-year-old defendants in criminal cases. And they sometimes forget that these are just kids, and that no matter what they may be accused of or even guilty of, you can't treat them the same way as you treat somebody who's older and more mature. So we're able to sensitize the system somewhat to that fact. The reason I do what I do is because I love people in general, and I love kids in particular. When I was a kid, I read the book A Catcher in the Rye, and even though that image of the man sitting at the end of the rye field protecting the children from falling over the cliff, and even though it's not really what the author had in mind, my image of that is that's what I want to do, is that these kids are playing, they're enjoying their life, and there's a cliff there, there's a lot of dangers there. If they make the wrong decision, they can fall over that cliff. And my job is just to kind of sit there and let them play. And when they get too near the cliff, say, hey, look, you're too near the cliff. You need to move this way, you need to move that way. It's the most rewarding job that I've ever had because, number one, you get to feel like you're being there for a young person. They're not just, they're not just names and pictures. You're actually making a difference. You're being there. There's many times when I've said to myself, well, hey, if I wasn't there today, what would have happened with this kid? If I wasn't there in court, would this kid have understood the plea that he or she is giving? If I wasn't there at this kid's house when the incident took place, would I have been able to explain to the police when they came that what this kid did was really natural, that the kid actually didn't do what he or she is accused of? I'm able to intervene, and to be able to intervene in the situation in a helpful, positive way. Try to take whatever knowledge or skill I have and put it into that situation, and maybe, just maybe, it'll have a happier outcome than it would have had if I hadn't been there, if I hadn't been able to intervene in that fashion. And I've been doing this now for several years. I've been at this particular position for 10 years, almost 11, and I can't count the number of times a former client has come to me years later. Maybe they were 15, 16, and now they're 21, now they're 22, and they're in college, or they're married and have kids, or they may still be out there living the lifestyle they were living before, but feel they're heading in the right direction. The fact that they remember, I remember that day you did so-and-so, and half the time we don't even remember what it was that we did, because there's so many things that are involved. But the fact that they remember, and that hopefully it had an impact on their life, that's the greatest reward of all.